if we go down here, you can see that we have 8 different types of wool in here, and then 8 more different types in here. So we are now getting every single type of wool. Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode. So in this episode today, we're starting off here in the little sheep pen, breeding these guys up, because I want to work on a wool farm today. So we're going to build an automatic wool farm using our sheep here, then we'll decorate it up a little bit. So we got a lot of work to do today. I plan to build it over here in this little area right here, so we're going to have to do some clearing out, also that way it's not too noisy near our house as well. I thought about building it right there, but I didn't want to have to move all those animals. So yes, we're going to build it right here in this little area, so let's get to work clearing out these trees and some of this land. Alright, and there we go, we have our flat piece of land all dug out now. And while I was digging this, I realized I need to invest in some better tools. This took way longer than it should have, so maybe we'll do that soon. But yeah, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on all the actual wool farms. I'm gonna get those built up, and then we're gonna build our little barn up around it first. So I have our first ones marked out here. This is where they're gonna be. And then, so let's go ahead and get the sheep in here. We'll have one for each color of wool, and then we'll continue on from that. So I had to head down to the spider farm because the way this farm works is it uses an observer to detect when a sheep eats a piece of grass, and then it uses the dispensers to actually harvest the wool from the sheep, and then it's automatically collected. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably seen this type of wool farm before. So we're just going to need 16 dispensers, 16 observers, and then a couple other random things here and there. A few other things we're going to need quite a lot of are rails and hopper minecarts. So I have all the materials for that stuff, but I haven't made them up yet. So the way you make this farm is you want to place a dispenser facing into the spot where you want the sheep to stand. So I want the sheep to be right here. And then you want to take an observer and put it at the bottom of the dispenser facing into that grass block. And then you'll have your solid block here with a piece of redstone on top, so that'll power this. So then under this grass block right here will be our rail with our hopper minecart, and you want to make sure the rail is placed into these 2 blocks like this, so the hopper minecart doesn't move or anything, and then it'll be able to collect anything that falls up on top. So if we go ahead and make one and then throw it down right here, so that's pretty much all the farm is. It's very simple. Anything that falls on the block will go into this hopper minecart right here. Then I'll just have to make a system to collect everything from these minecarts and then collect it somewhere, but that'll probably be a task for later. Actually, maybe I'll do that right now, because if I wait to do it, it'll probably be a lot harder to replace all the blocks underneath. Yeah, so I decided to change it right now because it would have been a lot harder to change them all with the minecarts in there. So you just put a hopper underneath the minecart, and then you can direct it into any block here. So I'll probably have droppers here into a water stream, probably just to collect all the wool, and then probably have it stored somewhere in a storage system, like probably over there. But yeah, so I'm gonna get all these little wool farms in, and then we'll start getting the sheep in here and each die, and then we'll start building up our little barn. Okay, so I have all my wool farms in now. Everyone is set up, ready to go. Just gotta put some walls around them and put the sheep in. The only downside is right now I have no way to access the wool that's actually collected. So that's okay though, we'll have that figured out soon. But yeah, for now, let's just put the walls up, we'll put the sheep in, and then we gotta go find every single color of dye. So that'll be the next steps. Alright, and there we go. We now have every single sheep in the spot. The only thing left is just dye each one a different color, and then we need to put shears in each of the droppers, and then these farms will pretty much be functional. And then we'll just build up around to make this place look pretty. Now what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to do this from memory. So we only need 15 colors just because we already have the light blue one. First of all, I guess first let's see if I actually have everything. But then we'll see if we can make every single one. So we're gonna need a lot of bones because we gotta make a lot of like lighter variants. I have a yellow flower here, but I think I'm gonna need another one. We also have cocoa beans, and I already know I don't have any ink sacs, so that's another one that I don't have. Then I have like these random purple flowers. We have lapis for all the blues. We do have cactus, so that's good. We can smelt down a couple cactus. All right, so I went and got some squid. I also went to our flower forest next door, so we should hopefully have everything now to make all the dyes. So we'll make that red one. We can make orange now. We'll just kind of go in order of the rainbow. We can make our lime green with the white dye. We have another green one. We also have magenta. Let's see, so we need a light gray. Wow, I have too many flowers now. We need pink. What's this one? That's another light gray, so we don't need that one. That's white, we don't need that one. More light gray. Okay, so now a couple ones we're missing. We do need a purple. We need a cyan. We haven't made our brown one yet. We also need a black dye, and that opens up a bunch more. Gray dye. Okay, so what are we missing? We have, how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do need another dark green. Oh, there we go. Which two am I missing? Oh, we have white. Oh, it's the black dye, duh. Okay, so I think that's all 15 now. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 dyes. Okay, perfect. And so I organized them in my inventory already. So this is the order that we're gonna put them in. So we'll go red, orange, yellow, lime green, green, cyan. This one will be light blue and then dark blue. And then on this side we'll go pink, magenta, purple, light gray, dark gray, brown, white, and black. And there we go. We have every sheep colored now. We also got an achievement for that. Dye sheep with all 16 colors, so that's cool. So now here is our sheep farm. Next, we're just gonna build up our barn, make it look nicer in here, and then do a little storage system. Also, what I've done with this is I put stairs here on these blocks next to it. So you can kind of see it here. So what this does is the more grass blocks that are adjacent to this one that the sheep's standing on, the faster it'll turn back to a grass block. And you want them to change as fast as possible, so that way you can get more wool from this. That's how you make the farm faster. The longer they're standing on just like a dirt block, it doesn't really do anything. So yes, you want to have as many grass blocks touching the center grass block as possible. And because you have stairs here, it won't turn these grass blocks underneath, but it still looks like a solid block. All right, so now that we are done with this, I'm gonna go grab a bunch of resources to construct the outside of our little farmhouse here. It is a lot of stuff. Just some decoration blocks and stuff I want to get, and then we'll construct our little farmhouse here and we'll see how it looks. So a little progress update right here. We have the bottom half of the barn pretty much all constructed now. The next thing I'm going to work on is the roof, but you may have noticed that I was building a little weird. That is because I am going off of a creative mode build that I have already designed in Creative World, obviously. I just realized this pillar is off-centered one. But yes, I am going off a creative mode build, so I already know where the blocks are going to go. I'm just kind of looking at it on another screen, and we're constructing it up from there. But yeah, so let's work on the roof next, and it's gonna be a pretty tall roof, but we'll finish up the roof and the top of the build, and then we'll work on some of the details. Okay, and here we go, guys. We have now finished the roof of our barn. So yeah, so this is what it looks like. Just about finished with the entire building so far. Just adding the details would be the last part. The next thing we're gonna do is actually add a little upstairs area, kind of a ladder area. I probably should have done this earlier just because I kept falling off the entire time I was building this. So that was a little bit of a pain. So yeah, we'll have these two ladders on each side, and then to connect a little raised up area for storage and just to make it look a little bit more like a barn, kind of barn feely. And then we also need to get some glass to put there. So we'll work on all that, and those will be kind of the next steps, I guess. And there we have it. Our farmhouse is all constructed now. We have this upper layer here and then some stairs, and then we have our little secret area down here to access this little back area. Not too important though, but yeah, so our farmhouse is all finished. Now I just gotta add the bits and bobs all around here just to make it look way better than just this plain empty canvas. And I did struggle a lot trying to make this look better than how it did before. I was struggling on how to make it look kind of cozy, kind of like a barn, while also having them only in this single spot. I also needed to keep the blocks 2 blocks high as well. I wanted it to be a little more open with like fences, but it wouldn't have worked because the dispensers wouldn't be able to hit the sheep every time, or it wouldn't have been able to collect all the wool. So I was really struggling with this part, but I finally found something that looks decent. Could be better. I'm obviously not the happiest with it, but it works. The stairs here kind of edge off the bulkiness of it a little bit. So yeah, here is our little barn house. Let's go ahead and finish up the detailing, and then we will be all finished with this build. And here we are back once again, and this time with a fully decorated and detailed barn, minus the floor here. We still need to do the floor. We are going to make it a little bit of a barn looking floor with podzol and all that stuff. But yeah, so this is the outside of the barn. I tried to make it look like kind of naturey, kind of messy, just kind of like random things here and there, like these levers and whatnot. We have little flowers on the windows, hay bales all around. We go inside here, we got some storage up here, just a little platform, and then of course we have hay bales up top. Yeah, so now we just have the floor left. It's gonna be a mix of like dirt and podzol, and just make it look kind of like wore down, wore out and everything. And then the other thing in this little back area here is we have these trap doors to help us come back here to access each of the dispensers. So if our shears in here ever break or we need to replace them, or in this case fill them up, we can access those on both areas, and it's pretty hidden, so you wouldn't know about it unless you obviously came back here. And then what I was thinking for a storage area, I would like to build like a silo for our little barn here, for all the wool, to store all the wool, but I would also like to sort it into each individual category. So if we build a silo, it will be kind of a big area to put like a storage system in it, so unless we sort it beforehand and then kind of filter it out that way, we'll have to see what we can do. But yeah, so here is our build. I hope you guys enjoy it, and now let's finish up the floor. And there we have it, guys, for our last progress update. Our barn floor is all finished now. It stretches here to the outside, and actually I missed a block right there. Barn floor here on the inside, so it is very noisy, but that's kind of how I want it. Kind of make it have dirt and all these pathways. It's all worn down just from like walking around in here. The other thing is, it is a pretty hard edge right here, so I am going to stretch this out just a little bit, these little detail blocks, and kind of make it blend into the ground a little bit more. You can kind of see how it already kind of does that here with these grass blocks. I think if we just extend it out a little bit more, it'll look pretty good. And then just kind of thicken up these hills a little bit, so it's not such a hard edge right here. Maybe get rid of this stone here, and then also thicken up this side right here. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do here is set up our little storage kind of transportation thing. So I have some materials here to make like an automatic timer, so the observers aren't powering the droppers all the time, so they kind of like shut off once items are in the hopper. They'll shoot out, and then when they're empty, it'll turn off. And I actually just realized I didn't make any of the droppers. 1 second, let me go make those. Okay, so we got our droppers. So the first thing we're gonna do is place a dropper in front of every single hopper, just like, not like that. Now the way to make these little clocks is we're gonna need a comparator coming out of the hopper here. This will detect like when there's an item actually in the hopper. Then we'll take a piston and put it facing down from the comparator, just like that. Then we're gonna take an observer and place, not that way, place it this way to where the face is facing away from the dropper, just like this. Then we're gonna place the second one right here onto the sticky piston. So now when items go into this hopper here, this will power this comparator, which will power this, and then start powering these two observers. And then the last thing we need is a piece of redstone right here to power this dropper and spit out our items. So now if we take some dirt, for instance, and throw it in this minecart, you can see. Okay, so we're back. So for some reason it wasn't working at first. I think I turned this observer the wrong way. So it has to be facing into this cobblestone block here, and then this one you have placed facing this way. So now whenever anything comes into this hopper, you can see it's a little signal, constantly powers out until it's empty, and then it turns off. So that's our little circuit that we're gonna have here. We're gonna hook this up to every single dropper on this side and on the other side as well. And then once that all set up, I'll put our water stream in here, a couple chests, and then this should be all ready to put the shears in and start collecting some wool. Okay, so now we've got every dropper set up on both sides here, so you can see all these in this side, and then if we go to the other one, these are all here as well. So now the next thing we need to do is add our little water streams. So start one down here, and then let's find the middle. So we'll put a slab right here. I need a block of ice. Okay, we're gonna have to go find ice, but that's fine. And then we just put another water bucket here, and then we'll mine out these blocks to make a little chest to go right here, just like this. Make a hopper going into the chest to collect all of our wool, and then this is now all good and set up. Oh, hello, man. Where did you come from? Now that I think about it, I really hope a creeper doesn't fall down. That would not be good. All right, so we have both sides set up now. I just need to go grab some ice. Then we have our little staircase here to get out, but this is gonna be no way permanent. I will be changing this. This is just so we can access it right now. So we grab 2 buckets of ice and then a lot of iron so we can fill up these guys, and then we can finally see this farm start to work. Okay, so I got my packed ice. I literally had to go make a little ice pond up in a mountain just to get these 2 blocks of ice. But now these things are going to go here, and now everything should be able to reach these 2 hoppers. Okay, but now I have my 64 blocks of iron here. So let's head down into the little back area of all these sheep pens and fill up all these droppers with 9 shears each. All right, so everything is all set up now, and you can see we already have a sheared sheep right here. So now we just gotta wait for the rest of the grass blocks to decide to grow back and all these other sheep to decide to eat. But if we go down here to our chest, sure enough, you can see that there is 3 black wool in here. So our farm is now fully working. But while I was working on this, I happened to come over here to our little villager farm, and I happened to notice this. So 3 of our villagers somehow turned into witches, and our minecarts are gone. And we also had this issue over here where the farm actually blew up. So I went back into the replay mod footage, and there was two different instances which caused both of these things to happen almost back to back. So they both happened to the same farm, relatively close to one another. So yeah, so now I have to go ahead and get 3 more villagers in here, fix all this. But I'll put this footage in the video for you guys to see how this even happened, especially because these villagers are covered, and I don't even know how. At first I didn't know how the heck these 3 guys got converted, but these guys didn't, because if you didn't know, a villager has to get struck with lightning to actually turn into a witch. So somehow this guy was fine, but these 3 were not. And then of course you can probably tell this is a creeper that blew this up. So yeah, so I'll play that for you guys and you can see what happened yourselves. So you can see from this clip that the skeleton and the creeper spawn, and then the skeleton starts trying to aggro on the iron golem and then hits the creeper, and the creeper decides to actually attack the skeleton itself, which causes the farm to blow up. So this was the first thing that happened. So then the second thing that happened was a lightning strike actually hit right next to our villager food farm and somehow converted the bottom 3 villagers to witches, and the top one survived, so he got pretty lucky. But yeah, so that's how we ended up getting witches in our villager food farm now. So I was sitting here for a while, kind of waiting for the grass blocks to grow back, and I was starting to wonder what the heck was going on with it, why it was taking so long. And I finally looked up and I realized that there needs to be light. These light levels in here are too dark, so I went and grabbed some glowstone. It's the block that looks the best that I have access to right now. Copper lamps actually looked pretty good, but unfortunately whenever the dispensers actually power, it turns them off, so those won't work. The other option is the yellow frog lights, but frog lights are quite difficult to come by, at least right now. Maybe sometime in the future, but for now we're just gonna put a piece of glowstone behind each one, just like this. And this should be more than plenty for the grass to grow back on each of the spots here for the sheep to eat and regrow their wool and shear all the sheep. So I'm gonna wait around again for a little bit to kind of let all the sheep shear, and then we'll go ahead and check on it in the bottom. Alright, so now all our sheep have been sheared. We can see that the farm is properly working now. If we go down here, you can see that we have 8 different types of wool in here, and then 8 more different types in here, so we are now getting every single type of wool. I did notice one inefficiency with this farm, and unfortunately some pieces of wool are actually getting stuck on the stairs, but I think I'd rather just keep the barn kind of looking how it is, keep it nice looking, rather than address the inefficiencies. All I would have to do is change these stairs to solid blocks, but I like the look of the stairs better, so I don't think I really care enough to change them to solid blocks just for those extra 1 or 2 pieces of wool here and there. It doesn't happen very often, so It's not that big a deal, and I don't think I will be using that much wool to begin with. But it's nice just to have it. But yeah, so with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Let me know what you think of the build. Let me know if you liked it. And if you enjoyed the episode, please consider subscribing, leave a like, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everyone.